Have you ever felt so alone that the presence of anyone seemed better than the silence of the house? Be careful. That's where the danger lies. It was exactly in this weakness that Lucas fell. An honest, hard-working man with a beautiful life story, but deep down, he just wanted someone to lie down next to and feel that he was still loved. And do you know what happened? He opened the door to neediness and let her choose for him. At first, it seemed like love, but in a short time, it turned into hell. She took his children away, controlled every step, turned his house into a battlefield. Lucas almost lost his health, his family, and almost lost everything he built in his entire life. And do you know the worst? He didn't even realize he was being destroyed, because neediness blinds, and when you're afraid of being alone, you accept anything, even things that will hurt you. This video is for you who are in this situation, or for those of you who have already been through this, but still bear the scars. Stay with me, because today, I'm going to show you where this mistake begins, and how you can get rid of it before it's too late. If you're a man over 50 and want to avoid traps like this, or learn to value yourself even after so much pain, subscribe to the channel now. Here we tell the truth that no one else has the courage to tell. First, neediness doesn't warn you, it pushes you without you realizing. You know that day when the house is too quiet, the cell phone doesn't ring, the kids are busy with their own lives, and you're there with the coffee getting cold in your hand thinking, will I end my days like this alone? That's exactly what happened to Lucas. After he lost his wife, time passed too slowly. At first he held on tight, telling himself, I'm strong, I'm fine, I don't need anyone. But the truth is that the emptiness grew and he didn't even notice. That's how neediness is. It doesn't come screaming, it comes softly. It disguises itself. As longing, as a desire to talk, as just wanting someone close by. Until one day Helena showed up. A quick smile, sweet words, full of attention. She sent messages every day, telling him he was special. And he, of course, fell for her like a child. Why? Because when the heart is needy, any affection seems like true love. And that's when he started to confuse attention with affection, affection with commitment, presence with purpose. Lucas didn't choose Helena because she was the best for him. He chose her because he couldn't stand the silence by his bed anymore. And look, that was the first step on a road he never imagined he would walk. If this story about Lucas reminded you of someone, comment here. There are many men suffering in silence, and sometimes a word from you can open someone's eyes. Second, choosing. Anyone is the quickest path to regret. At first, Lucas thought he had hit the jackpot. Helena was affectionate, she would compliment him. She would say, "Good morning," before the sun even rose. And he thought, wow, after everything I've been through, I guess now God sent me someone. But it only took a few months for it to start to sink in. Helena started to change. She started to control everything. She wanted to know who he talked to, where he went, why he was taking so long. She got irritated when he spent time with his grandchildren, or when he wanted to be quiet watching TV. Little by little, Lucas started to become quiet. He stopped visiting his friends. He stopped going to church. Even his own children started to distance themselves. But you know what's sad? He stayed with her, out of fear of being alone again. He already knew she wasn't the right person, but he preferred to live in bad company than to face the cold pillow again. One day on a park bench, talking to a childhood friend, he blurted out, "Man, I accepted all of this just so I wouldn't sleep alone another night, just so I wouldn't have to face that silence when I opened the door to my house." This is the point where many men get to, but few have the courage to admit it. Because when neediness rules the choice, you don't choose with your heart, you choose with desperation. And then, my friend, what was supposed to be a new beginning becomes a weight on your shoulders. What would you do in Lucas's place? Would you stay out of fear of being alone, or would you have the courage to leave? Tell me in the comments. First, neediness is not a sin, but letting it choose for you is a mistake. Lucas was not weak, not at all. He had faced the loss of his wife, raised his children practically alone, and fought his entire life. But what he didn't realize is that even the strongest get tired, and it is in this tiredness that many people make dangerous choices. He was not wrong for missing someone. Missing affection, a hug, company, is human. But the problem is when you let this hole in your chest choose for you. Do you know what that is? It's like going to the supermarket when you're hungry. You don't choose what's best, you take what's in front of you. And usually, you regret it later. Lucas realized too late that what he needed was not just any woman to fill his home. He had to learn to love himself again first, to respect his own loneliness, healing what still hurt inside. Because when you are whole inside, you don't accept any broken piece just to have someone by your side. And that's what many men need to understand. There is no shame in being alone. Shame is losing yourself, trying to fill the void with something that will empty you even more. Do you think that loneliness or a company that hurts you is worse? Write it down. I want to know your opinion. Fath. The day Lucas decided to say enough, Lucas spent months trying to convince himself that everything would get better, that Helena just needed time, that it was just a bad phase. But deep down, he already knew. He knew that he was going through something that made him smaller, sadder, more trapped. One day, after yet another silly argument, he went to the bathroom mirror. He looked at himself and almost didn't recognize himself. The look in his eyes no longer had any sparkle. The smile disappeared, and that strong man who had faced so much in life was there, slowly fading away. It was on that day that he took a deep breath and said to himself, "I wasn't born to live begging for affection. I deserve peace, and if I'm going to live alone, let it be at peace with myself, and not at war with someone every single day." He gathered up his courage. He talked to Helena. It ended. She cried, tried to convince him to stay, but for the first time in a long time. Lucas chose himself. Was it difficult? It was. Did he feel scared? A lot. But at that moment he understood that being alone wasn't the problem. The problem was being in bad company. After that, he went back to doing the things he liked. He started walking in the park, started having lunch with his children again, and even went back to attending Sunday services, and most importantly, he relearned to enjoy his own company. Fuss. Loving yourself is the first step. Lucas's story may seem like just another one, but it is the silent reality of thousands of men after 50, men who gave everything for a family, for a marriage, for someone, and suddenly find themselves alone, forgotten, feeling that something is still missing. And in this lack, it is easy to fall into the trap, accepting anyone, getting attached to any affection, and forgetting that you also deserve to be chosen with love and not out of need. But look, it is not too late to start over. It doesn't matter if you are alone. Now it doesn't matter if the house is too quiet. What matters is what you decide to do from now on. Lucas thought he needed someone to be happy, but when he decided to take care of his own soul, respect himself, prioritize himself, his life changed. And if there's one thing he learned, and you can learn, get it too, it's this: better alone than in bad company, and better healed than needy. You don't have to accept crumbs. You deserve peace, respect, and someone who walks by your side, not who suffocates you with the fear of being alone. And if you have to wait, let it be for something real. So look, if there's one thing that Lucas's story teaches us, it's that the worst choice we can make is to let our hearts decide when they're empty. Neediness makes noise. It deceives. But in the end, if you don't value yourself, you'll always end up in the wrong place, with the wrong person. And you don't deserve that. You deserve peace, you deserve respect, you deserve someone who chooses you because they love you, and not because you've accepted anything just to not be alone. If this spoke to you, like it, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Have you ever experienced something similar? This channel exists to show you that it's not too late to start over, and that men also feel, also suffer, but can also heal. We're together. See you in the next video.